This week on The Golden Bachelorette.
I'm going in with an open mind and try to bring my wall down. So I want to spend time with her today and just not talking about anything and just having a good time and laugh and enjoy our time. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself. I just want to have a good time.
Oh, you're right. It's time for a wedding. Joan.
I think the ceremony was beautiful and wonderful. Wasn't expecting that.
Welcome back to another week of The Golden Bachelorette, and it's time for Fantasy Suites. Yes, Joan and co are in Tahiti, where this week there's only one rule.
No bed?
No, not at all.
That's right, Joan has torched every bed in Tahiti because she's not gonna pull a Zach, not no way, not no how. Hanky-panky is off the table. Either that, or production had only enough budget for the cabins without beds on the Starbreeze cruise that they'll be staying on for Fantasy Suites. But before we get to the dates, Joan's friend Nancy from The Golden Bachelor is here to hype Joan up. Because Joan still has some guilt about feeling lonely and developing feelings for other men after losing her late husband, John.
Lonely is not a place that you stay. Lonely is a place you walk through.
Someone put that on a pillow immediately. Now, first up for their fantasy suite is Guy. And Guy says that he believes he's falling in love with Joan.
I believe I'm falling in love with Joan. And I could see this going all the way.
Not tonight it won't, but it's quickly becoming clear that Guy is really into Joan, and Joan is like, well, just kinda getting there.
I think, though, that he may be a little farther along in feelings than I am.
I didn't think I could feel this way again.
Yeah, I've had
It's
revelations about my heart, too, that I didn't think could get to where I am now.
She said, thinking about Chalk, but also there's a comfort in someone who is so all in on you. With a guy like Guy, you're not wondering if he's going to be in the same place as you come the end of this, cause he's already a football field in front of you. And after this snorkel date, with all of Guy's certainty, Joan is starting to feel like she's catching up to him. As for Guy, well, this is all going perfect. Even when Joan tells him she's saving anything physical for the person she ends up with.
I respect what you're saying so much. It just, could you do something? Could you say something wrong? Could you do something wrong for me?
Just wait.
This man has the body of a young athlete and the riz of a total grandpa. But hey, I guess that's the spirit of this show. So out comes the fantasy suite card that Joan and Guy accept just to talk. I hope they at least put a deck of cards in there or something. Now next up for their date is going to be Chalk, who, like Guy, is far along in his feelings. The only difference though is Joan seems to be right there with him. However, this week, Chalk tells Jesse Palmer he's going even further and is now in love with Joan.
But how does this thing end?
Oh, hopefully an engagement.
Yeah?
It's either going to be an engagement or I'm going to get my heart broken.
And as these two head out on an ATV date, Joan says she's still in protection mode with Chalk as it's feeling really real with him, and that brings out her guilt about having feelings for someone other than her late husband. Although here, Joan is really feeling desired by Chalk as he hasn't had alone time with her since their hometown and he's raring to go. Does he not know about the bed situation, or... Now, at the night portion of their date, the only kind of question Joan has is if Chalk is too good to be true or not. But part of this expedited process is taking a leap of faith. And after Chalk expresses how deeply his feelings grew after seeing Joan get emotional with his family at his mother's celebration of life, she says she feels safe with him and believes that he's not saying things he doesn't mean.
I started feeling unseen when John passed away. And so I think, sometimes being seen, you only need one person to see you. Chalk makes me feel seen.
So bust out that fantasy suite card and get the Scrabble room ready. These two are heading up for the night. And Chalk is the frontrunner when you even get production snooping in on him trying to see if Joan changed her mind in any way.
What'd you guys do in there? Well, what did we do? That's between Joan and myself. If she wants to talk about it, she can, but, my lips are sealed.
All right, then, keep your secrets.
Now, before we move on to the final fantasy suite with Pascal, Jesse Palmer is actually being put to work this week, and he's sitting down with Pascal to talk about the walls that he has up.
You know, I'll be very honest with you. I mean, I was very much in love with a woman about a year ago. I was almost engaged in November. We had that fire in us.
And Pascal says their relationship was on and off, get back together, break up, get back together, break up, like...
Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap!
Jesse, do you have any idea the kind of toll that 3 breakups has on a person? So they ended things completely because they kept hurting each other, but she's still there for him. Like for Joan, John is still there, and for Pascal, this woman is still there.
I'm trying to rebuild, you know, from the outside. I look all fun and funny and everything. Think I'm happy, but the entire I'm hurting.
And he also gets emotional about his difficult childhood, saying that when you're alone, the only person you can rely on is yourself. So there's more behind the vibrant Frenchman that everyone sees on the surface.
People look at me with my fancy car, my fancy clothes, and my French accent and the lifestyle, and they say, oh God, this guy, they don't know where I come from.
But Pascal still has walls up, and he's open to seeing where things go, but he's also a little afraid. So naturally, for this date, production decides to set him up with a bonding ceremony that sort of feels like a wedding. Now, the official language of the islands of Tahiti is French, so Pascal gets very comfortable with the man running this date, especially when he starts showing them some food from Tahitian culture, like the chicken they have, or... is it a rooster?
Le poulet. Chicken.
Yeah,
Chicken.
Le rooster, hein?
Le rooster? That's a cock.
Okay, that's the closest we're gonna get to any of that this fantasy suites. So sitting in his native tongue has Pascal getting very relaxed. The traditional Tahitian bonding ceremony, though, shoots his nerves way up.
I thought I'll have something more casual, something more like just being silly, being kids again. You know, not something where we have to basically talking about our feeling emotion. I wasn't ready for that.
So Pascal says that the ceremony freaked him out. It's put him in a place where he's realized he's just not ready. And so, as we move to the night portion of their date back on the cruise, Pascal has to tell Joan exactly where he's at.
We're having a good time together. We do.
Yeah, we do.
You know, I mean, we laugh, we seem like we connect, but I need that spark, and she just don't have it.
Kinda wild that someone reached fantasy suites without a spark, but here we are. Pascal says they get along great as friends, he has fun with her, but he's not fully there in love. And Joan asks if he's not there yet, or if he knows he won't ever get there. But for Pascal, he says he's just not ready.
It'll be okay?
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Of course I'll be.
She tried to say it's okay, it's okay. I know it's not okay. When you get hurt, you try to overcome by saying, oh, I'm okay, it's okay, it's okay.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay.
So Pascal says goodbye, and Joan has her first big breakup of the season, just as her walls were coming down and her fears were melting away. And now, after this, right before we get into the final 2, the fears are creeping back in.
I was afraid coming into this, and then my fears started getting better. And now I'm afraid again.
So that's it for this recap of the Golden Bachelorette Fantasy Suites week. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content. And until next time, Bachelor Fan Take out.
I'm not going to put any pressure on myself. I just want to have a good time.
Oh, you're right. It's time for a wedding.